Hello everyone, what is up? So today's video is my non-spoiler review of the Raven Cycle series by Maggie Stiefvater. This book series has 4 books, and the first one is The Raven Boys, followed by The Dream Thieves. The third book is Blue Lily Blue, and the finale is The Raven King. This series follows a girl named Blue, who is the only non-psychic in a family full of psychics. Everyone around her has some sort of clairvoyance power except for her. But actually, her special ability is that she's able to enhance the powers of those psychics around her. Because of this, every year her and her mother go to an abandoned churchyard on a holiday called St. Mark's Eve. There, her mother is able to see the spirits of those who are supposed to die in the next year. Blue, obviously having no type of clairvoyant or psychic ability, she is not able to see any of the spirits of those who are supposed to die, except for this year, where she actually meets the spirit of a boy who she later finds out is named Gansey. Gansey attends the fancy all-boy private school across town named Aglinby. Gansey has been on this lifelong mission to find this sleeping Welsh king, and it is said that whoever is able to wake him up will receive a favor from the king. So Blue is kind of thrown into Gansey's quest with all of his friends, and yeah. I gave this book series about a 3.5 to 4 stars out of 5. I overall really enjoyed this series. It's full of a lot of mythology, a lot of paranormal kind of aspects and magic. This book series in general, the plot and the magical elements is just very complex, and it's very hard to wrap your mind around it. And that combined with Maggie Stiefvater's writing, it's very hard to picture a lot of the things that are happening in the story. So that is why I kind of had to dock it a couple of stars. If you're a frequent reader of high fantasy, I feel like you're going to enjoy this book series a lot more than if you didn't read a lot of high fantasy, just because, like I said, there's a lot of complex magic elements to this story. As for the characters in the story, I enjoyed reading about all of them. They're very complex and they have so much character growth and just so much development. The characters that you meet in the first book are not the characters that you're going to read about in the 4th book. They're just so different. There's so many experiences and so many things that happen to them, and there's so much growth and self-realization that it's just amazing. Blue has become one of my favorite protagonists that I've ever read about because she's such a feminist. She's all for girl power, and you can really see that throughout the series. And she's also just very badass. She's grown up kind of poor. She's not in the best financial situation, but despite that, she still has dreams of kind of going out and doing more with her life than just staying in the sleepy little town of Henrietta, Virginia. This book is also really heavily based, I feel like, on relationships and not necessarily the romantic kind. You see a lot of parent relationships, some good, some pretty bad. You also get to see kind of relationships between people of different classes. Blue herself is very poor, like I mentioned. She is not in the best financial situation. But on the other hand, we have Gansey, who's very rich. Whatever he wants in his life, you know, he can just go out and buy. And there's also another character named Adam, who is also very poor, but his situation is a little bit different than that of Blue's. And you just get to read about the, I guess, tensions and the way that these characters interact with one another in regards to their financial situation and stuff like that. And it's just a great series overall. I have to say the first book is a little bit hard to get into in the beginning. I feel like if you really want to read it though, around page 100 of the first book is where things start really picking up for some reason. You really just have to get used to the writing and the world before it starts getting good. Personally, I don't recommend binge reading this series just because I feel like, for me personally at least, it was just a world that I tried reading the books back to back, but it's just a world where if I read too much of it, I will get tired of it. So I had to definitely space out the books by reading a book or 2 in between each of them. That is personally how I recommend that you read it, but like I said, that was just me. Okay, so that is it for this series review. Like I said, great story with a lot of focus on relationships and complex magic and Welsh mythology and paranormal magic, and it's just an overall great story. This series is unique. I guarantee that you have never read anything like this before, It's very different from Maggie Stiefvater's other books, so if you read Shiver, the Shiver series, or the Scorpio Races by her, it's a completely different ball game, a completely different scene. So if you didn't like those books, those other books by her, I definitely recommend that you maybe check out these ones to see if you like it a little bit more. But yeah, that is it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in my next. Bye!